In order to understand things about isotopes and how minerals bond together, we need a basic chemistry overview. So we're going to keep this really basic and give you what you need to know to be able to understand some of the other things in your geology classes. So the first thing we want to do is talk about an atom versus element. So an atom is just the building block of matter, so it's just a basic unit that we can't really break down anymore. If you break it down anymore, it's going to turn into something else. An element is a little more specific, and so it's a type of atom. So what I like to talk about are genes. So gene is a generic term just for, a type of pant that's made out of a certain fabric. But then you have certain brands of genes, like Wrangler or Levi or whatever it might be. And so the element would be like the brand of the atom. The atom is just kind of like the gene, the generic term. Atoms are made of three things: protons, neutrons, and electrons. So let's look at the charge first. Protons are positively charged. Neutrons are neutral. And electrons have a negative charge. We also want to look at how much mass they carry. So what we find out is that protons and neutrons both carry mass. Electrons, it's so tiny that we don't really care about it. It would be like weighing yourself and then cutting one single hair off and then weighing yourself again and thinking there was going to be a big difference. So electrons are kind of like those single strands of hair. In order to quantify this, instead of having some really weird number, we actually talk about the mass of a single proton or neutron is called 1 AMU, or 1 atomic mass unit. So it's kind of like saying a dozen instead of 12. It's just a way to quantify that. So our proton has 1 AMU, atomic mass unit. Our neutron also has 1 AMU. And then our electron, we would basically say has 0 AMUs. It just doesn't really register on that scale there. The other thing we care about is the location of them. So protons and neutrons, which carry all the mass, are going to be in the center of the atom, or the nucleus. And then the electrons are going to be on the outer shells of that. So I'm going to take a moment to draw what that looks like. All right, so here is our just pretend atom here. We're going to see that in blue, I have 3 protons drawn. And then in green, I have 3 neutrons. There's no charge there, I just left it kind of blank. And then that would be inside the nucleus. So that's the center. So that's my nucleus here. And then you're going to have on the outer shells are going to be our electrons, the little negative signs there. So protons and neutrons, which carry all the mass, are going to be in the nucleus. It's positively charged. And on the outer shell will be the electrons, which basically has no mass, but does carry that negative charge for us. Now, the other thing that we're interested in is what's called the atomic number of a given element. And so the atomic number is just the number of protons in the element or in the nucleus. So let's do this. Atomic number. So atomic number is just the number of protons. We also care about the atomic mass. So atomic mass is how much mass it carries, which is going to be the total of the number of protons and neutrons, since they each carry mass. So atomic mass. All right, so what we're going to see is that our atomic number, the number of protons, is important because it's going to identify what element it is. That number of protons is kind of the signal to what you're looking at. So carbon always has 6, oxygen always has 8, hydrogen always has 1. It's just that identifier of what element that atom is, what brand of gene, right, you're wearing. The atomic mass becomes important because you're going to find out later in your class that some elements, like oxygen, are not always going to have the same atomic mass. Oxygen will always have 8 protons, that's its atomic number, but it can actually vary in the number of neutrons. So you kind of have heavier oxygens, you have lighter oxygens. So atomic mass ends up being really important. So remember, we've got protons, neutrons, and electrons. And then we've got our atomic number is the number of protons. Atomic mass, you just add up the number of protons and neutrons, and that tells you how much mass it has.